it's me, that's Levine. So to set the record straight, this delicious dress was designed by Seattle's very own Jamie Von Stratton, a fantastic girl and a delightful designer. So she designed it for me for special occasions, and you darlings are a special occasion. So I'm probably going to be wearing it for quite a while. I'll put a link to her blog in the information area, so check her out. She is fabulous. So let's get right into this week's episode. My mother's dead. Now, as a small child with an overactive and technicolor imagination, I would sometimes think to myself that, if heaven forbid my mother ever did pass away, that it would without a doubt be an epic, glamorous event worthy of any Hollywood big-budget film. One example would be that an evil European count would snatch my mother away one day and force her to become his bride, but rather than spend even one night in his bedchamber of sin and debauchery, she would drink poison and kill herself in defiance of his lustful ways, his chauvinistic actions, and the complete disregard that she was a human being and not an object. But death by lobster? Didn't see that one coming. Now, if you remember, my father had just gotten a promotion at the cheese factory that he worked at, Hollinsworth and Stein's Cheesery. I don't know if that's an actual term, but that's what it was called. Now, with this promotion, it required him to move to Atlanta, Georgia, where the factory headquarters were. Yes, and of course my father, being the kind-hearted, selfless man that he was, decided to take his darling Tallulah with him to Atlanta and push me off onto some relatives so he wouldn't have to deal with me. Such a loving father. So we made some calls to his relatives, but unfortunately none of them wanted to take me off of his hands and raise me. So, out of a last resort, he called my grandmother and my aunt on my mother's side and created some sob story. He told them that he just couldn't afford to raise 2 children. Lies. He told them that technically the company wasn't even going to allow him to let him bring his children with him. Lies. It was the hardest decision that he ever had to make. Lie. Out of everybody in the family, they were the only ones that could give me the upbringing that I truly deserved. That was true. Out of the goodness of their hearts and their sincere concern and love for me, they agreed to have me come and live with them in New York City. And that, my darlings, is when my life truly began. Next time on Smoke and Mirrors, he called me ugly, and I told him he smelled bad.